First of all, thank you very much, Islauddin Saab, for giving me the opportunity. Though it is your specialty, but I've already told the students that I don't know why I'm floating today in your class. So, but I'll try. I have very little background to be a part of international organizations. That includes United Nations and then IFRC, International Federation of Red Cross, Danish Red Cross, and with some embassies. For example, and especially Norway Embassy, with whom I have worked on the rights of women. Then there is another organization which is called Shirkatgah, and I work for almost 8 months with them on the project on the rights of the woman. So today the topic which I selected for you is CEDAW, S-C-E-D-A-W, which means that what is it's all about, CEDAW. And CEDAW stands for Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. And then I'm not talking only about the woman, but the youth especially, which is the latest emerging topic and issue. So before going into the detail that what is CEDAW, why, because there are a couple of questions which are related to CEDAW, that what is the need, why it is important, and why we should study. So I'm going to tell you the few things, though we have the time constraints, but I'll try to just give you an overlook and a brief of CEDAW. I was in Denmark in the connection of my training, and then in Geneva, and I come across a wonderful lady from Swat, which happened to be my father's cousin, and her name is Dr. Shaheen Sardal, a very well-known educationist, and she has a strong profile, and she works a lot for the women, rights of the woman, and she is now serving as a dean of Faculty of Law at Warwick University, where I studied. And she has wrote a book, and we have some conversation in Geneva, and she was talking about her book. Not only her book, but there was a topic about the rights of the woman versus Islam. And she really worked not only for the rights of, but the way she reflected the true spirit and the teachings, what has been written in Quran. She portrayed that in a way that no one can do that, honestly. And the book was Equal Before Allah, Unequal Before Men. And it's such an interesting, equal before Allah, unequal before men. And taking this, the title of the book, so I will start the CEDAW in the context of Quran and Islam and the practices of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Since we are living in a man-dominating society, and the example is here, we have only 3 orphans, female, minority, and the rest are men. So this shows the rights, that where we are standing as a society. Because these rights of the woman has not been recognized fully. And there are a lot of obstacles and restrictions from men, and again I'll come equal before Allah, unequal before men. My mom used to tell me that when she was a school going, and she was in a male dominating society. So because the chicken was not that much, was very special on a special occasion, people used to cook it. No kala چې به هغه پوخ کو نو وای مری به جنکو ته منګل راکړي او لګا او چست او دوا وچنا دارا زامنو دي. And then she said, why I should go for the neck? نه دا لکان چې دي دا راغو د پاره دا سوز د پاره نه دي. And maybe it happens still in most of the family setup. For example, in most of the families, maybe here or maybe in other parts of the country, first of all, the men are invited to eat the food, especially the dinner. And then later on, they say, okay, when they are, done with their food, then the female just sit and eat. So, men equal before Allah, unequal before men. But did our religion, or do you have ever crossed a single line where you can see the inequality with the woman, either in the Quran or practices of our Holy Prophet, peace be upon him? Have you ever crossed? Yes and no. Yes, while we do the interpretation. For example, Surah Nisa. And say shares, give the shares to the woman, which is recently recognized by the Western countries. Then Surah Talaq, Surah Mujadila, Surah Baqarah. But when it comes to inheritance, we skip that particular specific chapter and we say no. When it comes to divorce, we skip that chapter because what we like, we interpret in our own way. Then, for me, Surah Mujadila, this is the life turning point. Whenever I feel, I want to have some conversation with Allah, I want to discuss something, first of all, I go and read Surah Mujadila. Because it gives me such of, like the feeling which I can't explain in words, but the thing is, قَدْ سَمِيَ اللَّهُ قَوْلَ الَّذِي. It starts with that. And if you see, this is the biggest example. That a woman came to Huzur Sallallahu and she is narrating her story, that what happened, and it was about divorce. And the Prophet said, okay, yes, whatever your husband has said, yes, this is, we got divorce. And she said, look. And then she just came out from the mosque and went to the outside and said, oh Allah, are you listening? And on that particular time, the wahi, revealed on Holy Prophet. But what is the theme? Allah give importance to the right of the woman. If we see from another angle that Huzur Sallallahu Mahbub Payghambar, and it was very easy for the Allah to, yes, whatever my Prophet has said, yeah, this is the no. So this shows that the rights of the woman is not the invention, or something of the Western countries, or it's a new topic. Because before that, the practices that the women were, live, buried live, But when Huzur Sallallahu came and he said, no, this practice should be abolished. So who did that? It was also CEDAW, the protection of the rights of the woman. What we interpret, okay, if you give the rights to the woman, then it is something against our religion. Because now the women, I'm sorry that the women are sitting with the male and they are working with the male, in offices only 2 people, 100 male and 10 female. And this is something, so we interpret our religion and give a fashionable definition of our own culture. So CEDAW to me is not a new topic. It is already discussed in Quran. It is already, we can see the practices of our Holy Prophet. And now they are introducing this topic in a new way. And I'm wondering that they have taken all the good things, all what the Quran and the practices of Holy Prophet, they have put it and they translate it in their own way, but there is no references, so far I knew, the exact verses of the Quran. But this is actually the Quran, this is our religion, this is Allah, this is our Holy Prophet who introduces the rights of women. And then we say that, okay, few questions. Yes, women are not equal to men, because when it comes to evidence, so two female and one male. But why? Yeah, because there is a logic behind that. That the woman has a lot of responsibilities. How many you have, if I ask you, how many you have cooked those who are home-based, cook the breakfast, or who, done their, to make the clothes or to go for laundry? None, maybe 1 or 2%. But most of them are work. Okay, can someone tell me that in the morning who make the breakfast? The mom or the sister. Not, you will never hear in our society that the father has made me. Maybe Salahuddin is doing that, but but yeah, you do something, but not every day. Not every day, And so who do that? The woman. When you go, so there are a lot of demands. And this is the reason that inequality, and then we say, oh, I'm Muslim, I'm this, rights. Okay, I'm, I've seen, to be very honest, that when I do the immigration stuff, so most of the time, maybe 90% cases, when I say, okay, tell me about your children. Okay, their schools, my 3 sons, they are studying in English medium, and the daughter is studying in government school. And I say, why is that? And yesterday a guy came to me and he said, how many children do you have? So thanks God, he has only 6 children. Sometimes they have more than that, and it's so difficult, And then I wish I could raise my fees, because I have to write all those children names. So, and he said, okay, I have 4 sons and 2 daughters. The daughters, where they're studying? They are studying in government school. And the sons, they are in private school. Why is so? And he said, it's none of your business. Yeah, he just told me it's none of your business. Your business is to write, and to, I'm paying you, but it's none of your business. And I say, yeah, well, you are right. Thank you very much. I shouldn't ask you again. But why? He was not ready. Does our Holy Quran says that? No. Does the practices, can we see the practices of Holy Prophet? No. So this is what we are going that the CEDAW is not a new topic. It's already, but we needed to explore in the light what our religion says. And not only Islam, maybe, I don't know, maybe Kapil in your religion, it's maybe the same, I don't know. Maybe in Christianity, maybe it's the same, the rights, I don't know about that. But so far I have the knowledge about my religion. So it's very clear about the equal rights. The equal rights. Now, come to the main topic, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination. All forms of discrimination, all forms, means that there is no room for any form of discrimination. So means whether when we talk about education, when we talk about health, when we talk about job, and the most important is, for me, what I have, my previous experience and background, that it's not the woman who should be educated about the rights. It's the men who should be educated about the rights. Because unless and until the man does not know, so this discrimination will continue in the future and for the rest of the life. So the first and the far most important is to educate the men first. And when they are educated, then it is, like not easy job, but at least to some extent, the discrimination of all forms of discrimination will be eliminated to some extent. Now, so then we have few questions, which is, and we will talk about the youth, So why youth is important in CEDAW? Why youth? So can I ask you why youth is important? For example, have you accepted this female as a student? Yes. Why? Because you are youth. You are getting the new education. You are getting exposure. And it is an example that you can encourage your sisters or cousins or family in the home in one way or another. So these are the blessings for you. These are blessings for you. So, since Madam is here, so what is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women? So the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, is international legal instrument. It is an international legal instrument that requires countries to eliminate discrimination against women. So why there is a point that it's not only an issue of one single country, Pakistan or Bangladesh or India or Sri Lanka, but it is, if we see in the most developed countries, you can see discrimination of women. You don't know, or you cannot imagine how much discrimination you can see, in America. At job place, domestic violence. In England. But the way they do it, it is another way, and the way we do it, it is in another form. So, and surprisingly, America, United States is not a part of this convention. America has not yet signed this convention. It means that there are a lot of discrimination in the country, maybe more than Pakistan. I have in America the neighbors, and it's the neighbors of my sister, and in the morning, when I was there 2 years back, so she just came with bruises on her faces, and what happened? And then my sister asked, what happened? That last night my husband was drunk and he beat me just like an animal. Can you imagine? And we are talking that this very, developed and very sophisticated society. So this is what they say, that the elimination of all forms of discrimination should be eliminated not only in underdeveloped, but in developing countries, but in developed countries throughout the world. And those countries which are, those who have signed these, are a part of that they will may ensure it to eliminate all kind of discrimination against women. And Pakistan is one of the signatory that they will eliminate all, and that's why we have this women rights bill, and then a lot of like other laws has been in place, and they are ensuring, but not to the extent. So how many countries? 189 countries have rectified CEDAW. 189, and very few countries has not yet signed it. And the United Nations adopted CEDAW on 18 December 1979. 18 December 1979. And till 2016, 189 countries has signed, so maybe it's now more than that. So, Why is CEDAW important? Why is CEDAW important? Why it is important? I ask you first. Anyone? Very good. Yes. Yes. As a female, so why you think that CEDAW is important? Yes.
The rights of women's workers. The rights of women's females in workers.
Yes, CEDAW is important for one reason: equality.
Yes.
Equality. And again, that the woman is born with the same rights just like as a man. Even now, the people are opposing that there should be no discrimination on the basis of gender, just like we say, oh, the pink is for girls and the blue is for boys. This is another type of discrimination. So even that, it is now debated in, in developed countries that it should be eliminated. That from now we stigmatize the blue and the pink. Why the men cannot wear the pink? And why the girls cannot wear the blue? So, important because to address the rights of the woman and especially to eliminate all kinds of discrimination. And the most important that it requires all the countries. That not only domestic violence, because when we talk about CEDAW, so the most is that we talk about domestic, but it's more than domestic. Like for example, at job, how many female faces harassment? Like in the marketplace, when they go for shopping, you don't know how much they face the harassment. Violation, not if it's on the violation, at the hand of the husband, but the family. So it tells that all the human rights of women are the girl child are inalienable, integral, and indivisible part of universal human rights. And why they say CEDAW versus youth? That the youth should be educated, the young female, so then they can raise the voice for their rights. So, why CEDAW and youth? So, it is the reason that important for youth, although CEDAW mainly refers to women. The convention reflects a life cycle approach and countries are obliged to promote the equal rights of women and girls. So, means that the youth is now important, and in youth they don't say only female girls, they say boys as well. So in CEDAW, the new approach is that now the boys and girls, the youth, both the gender will be educated equally. Unless and until if they are not educated, both the gender, then again there is no chance to achieve the goals. And the goal is to eliminate the discrimination against women. So young women, they say that young women and young men are the eyes and ears for monitoring whether women and girls' rights are being respected or if they are being violated. So now in CEDAW, so the new approach is both the young men and the girls. They have not only talking about that, CEDAW is only for women, for the elimination or discrimination against women, but to educate them so the role of a male is very important. So young women and young men can contribute to gender equality by learning about women's and girls' rights. And this is what that we have a lot of non-governmental organization. We have international NGOs which are working on the promotion of the rights of the woman. So the CEDAW process is a roadmap for transforming gender relation within the country's communities and families so that there is equality in real life. So this is the main goal of the CEDAW. Then CEDAW and Islam. So CEDAW and Islam, when we talk about, so we should not ignore the best part of the CEDAW and to find its sources in Quran. For example, when we say that padeze ki barakhaze gawahi qabligi aw padeze ki barakhaze gawahi na qabligi khuda hum mang ta patashte چې په بعض ځایونو کې د سړو ګواهي نه قبلیږي او د ښځو به قبلیږي. So this is what the equality is there, but we needed to explore. So what is the convention? So the convention includes in a single legally binding instrument provision requiring the elimination of discrimination on the basis of sex in the enjoyment of several political, economic, social and cultural rights. So where we have, civil rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights and cultural rights. All these are, like for example in a Swat, if you say Adnan Tabassum, she's a woman activist and working for the rights of the woman. She is the founder of, that she's the first female who introduced female jirga.
Yes, sir.
Female jirga, and she's been awarded internationally, USA ke produce awards, and the reason that she said that the woman is also a part of jirga. خبر بر خزی روانه و هغه به غریب راغی قسمت فیصله بکیږي and she is behind the doors او سړی بلګي. Why she should not be a part of څنګه چې موږ وایو swara? So is this mentioned in Quran? No. So this is against related to CEDAW. چې دغه شان کوم practices چې it should be eliminated. And then in political, now we have seen in the few years that yes, that Pakistan is doing a great job, and this is that we have seen that in education institution, in politics, then in our assemblies, then as a judges, the first elevated Supreme Court judges. So this shows that Pakistan is also ensuring the rights of the equal rights of the female and women. So the convention includes in a single, so means that all economic and social and cultural rights should be ensured. So I'll just give few, because we are running out of time, so we'll just go for few articles which are important. So the first article is that about the definition of the discrimination against women and girls, that how one can define what will lead to discrimination. Discrimination means against women and girls mean different treatment for men and different treatment for women. This is discrimination. Just like I have quoted the example of the dinner. This is the different so this is article number 1. And the different treatment that, okay, the woman should be sit back and the male, but here we are good, we are not discriminating, they are here. So it means that law and Sharia department is showing the rights of the female in a best way, and we have the example. Yeah. So the first article is the discrimination that both the men should not be treated differently, but they should be treated equally. Then we have number 2, obligation to eliminate discrimination, and this is that all the countries are obliged to eliminate the any sort of discrimination or violation of the woman. And then we have another which is very important, Article 5, gender stereotypes. So do you know what is gender stereotypes? Anyone? Gender stereotype. So countries must work to change harmful gender stereotype about women and girls. Gender stereotype means, for example, that only football can be played by the boys, and only badminton can be played by the swimming can be only by men, and it's not. So this is a gender stereotype that the woman should be equally given the opportunity in different sports. And it should not be, for example, in our homes, we say, okay, 2 main professions. And this is the biggest one is medical, and the other is teaching. چې دا راخیز د پاره ټیک تر دې نه علاوه چې دی نو دا د دوی کار نه دی. او که بیا پکې ډېر څوک دغه شي وایي وکیل دي شي، ټیک شو وکیلان، بیا که د هغې نه لږ دغه شي وایي که انجینیر شي، خو موږ ډېر زیات هغو باندې stigmatized کړ. We have stigmatized labeled even the profession. So these stereotypes, because with دا ستا کار نه دی. But we have seen, okay, when the girls do good in the exams, coming with a good grades, او دا خو ذکر د بل کار نشته، کور کې بس لاړ شي او سبق وایي او دا ټیک شي. او زما باندې خو ډېر لوی بوج دی، زه دې ځای نه ځم او بیا هلته کور کې دا دي او بیا سودا راوړل دي فلانې، نو دوی به زموږ نه دغه کېږي نه، کلاس کې به زموږ نه ګریډ زیات نه دي. Because still what it shows that we are not accepting them fully. And we never ask them, okay, can you tell me what is the secret of your success? But we always make a lame excuses for them, you know, and for ourselves. Okay. So, and then we say in an exam, okay, I was cheating who told do you zaka do sok check kaina, I told the manga hoila khozu, nu zamang sara khudachel ki. And see, so these are again from here that we have not accepted their rights. And then one is Article 6, which is the latest emerging discrimination and violation, trafficking and exploitation of prostitution. And we have seen that when we got IDPs, so most of the women, those who have single parents or the male, you know, like most of the male, they're outside and they were, you know, migrating to other parts of. So there are cases which has not been reported, but there are cases that the woman who become the victim of, you know, trafficking as well as prostitution. So sex exploitation was there. So they say that now that in England we had that conference, and one of the lady, she was talking about the woman trafficking. And it was so interesting, and I'll tell you how. In Edgware Road, which is very expensive road where the Musharraf lives, and some of the Pakistanis that time, I don't know now, and they have rented out houses. In the houses, what they do, because we have a special visa for the performers, for the artist, but the zamang da kale چې تاسو اپلای نو پدې کې are you artist نو هغه د پاره بیا special او هغه ډېر په اسانه باندې ویزه لګي. So what the Pakistani do, they say چې څونه هم artistani kam chota mangawayu ya dalte da dance chikai ya che singarani ya kan yihum nada no agela beze wiki au alte buzi che alte buzi they kept confined in a one room apago bande bia tol galat karuna au da takai and it should be okay, yipa advancement. No, the reason I'm telling you that the question was that okay, in developing countries, yes, there is no strict laws. But what about the developed countries? Why they are following it? Why they are making, they are enjoying themselves from the developing prostitutions? So they say that, yeah, equally both. At this stage, developing and developed countries, both are involved in the violation and discrimination of women.